So we thought since the G20 was going on this week in Toronto that it's something that with all the chaos that seems to be going on right now, or what the media at least is trying to say, that we should at least sort of bring it up and maybe just talk about the G20 for a few minutes here. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have watched the news or anything like that, but they showed a few cop cars burning, and the media seems to always show one particular group of people, and you never hear about the good protests. They just kind of concentrate on the violent part of it, or whatever, or what seems to be violent. So I don't know, what do you think of the whole G20 thing here, fencing off our city and bringing 20,000
unnecessary
cops?
cost. The cost alone should enrage us all. Enough to go down and protest and smash stuff? No. But the costs are absolutely outrageous. What, almost $1 billion?
Yeah, $1 billion in a so-called economic bad time.
Yeah.
For 10,000 protesters with 20,000 uniformed and non-uniformed,
yeah.
battle-dressed police officers and private security guards.
Yeah.
Private security.
I didn't go down. I do have an opinion about the G20 and the meetings that they have. Obviously, since I'm enraged just about the bill alone, I have even more that I'd like to talk about. But I didn't go down because I didn't want to get caught up in any drama. Any burning of a car.
Sure. And
because if I saw somebody do that, would I stop them?
Sure. And that's kind of, you know.
And what if that gets violent?
That's kind of what I had said too, that I understand my motives, but you can't know the motives of every other person that's down there. And even though you wanted, or I wanted to go down for, you know, peaceful action on my part, you can't control the mob mentality that can happen in that kind of situation.
That would have been the reason that I would have went down, just to exercise my right to peaceful assembly. But is that the forum for it? Is that the platform
which I
for
don't.
it?
I think the G20 has showed us we don't really have the right for peaceful assembly.
If we can't even be near that fence is ridiculous.
Well, and not even that.
Is it a Red Rover game? Are they calling the protesters over?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Changing our laws so that the police can search you and ask for and demand
the Public Works Act.
Demand your ID, and if you don't show it to them, you get charged or whatever. So there's been changes just put in place specifically for this. They've changed some of our rights and freedoms and stuff, and they've kind of trampled around them pretty good. I mean, I think, you know, when you go to a protest and they start talking about it in the news a week before, and they show you that they've bought water cannons and sound cannons,
LRADs, yeah.
and that they're all going to be highly armored and whatever. I think they're kind of inciting the violence itself before it even happens.
They're definitely bringing an energy to the summit.
Absolutely, they're bringing an energy already of like battle-dressed, hardened soldiers, like, you know, they're expecting it. So I think they're kind of raising that energy level surrounding it, and I think they kind of play into that a little bit.
And I think the media tries to make monsters of some protesters, when I think the real monsters there are all the Darth Vader lookalikes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and we were just watching some of the videos of some of the arrests, and there's one that particularly bothers me because it's a girl, and there's a bunch of cops that have her pinned down on the ground. They have her arms behind her back.
Three officers? Uniformed officers?
Yeah, uniformed officers. They zip tie her up. She's already down. She's compliant. She's not resisting. Then 3 non-uniformed officers come and take her, and in such a violent manner that they're literally like ripping at her.
Oh,
and
that looks like it hurt her shoulders.
And this is a girl that is already
twisted way back like that.
And this is a girl that's already been under arrest. She's already handcuffed. She's not resisting. She wasn't struggling. She wasn't doing anything. They could have just
hauled off to who knows where.
They could have stood her up on her feet and let her walk out of there, but instead one was holding her by the elbow, and you got a picture with your hands chicken wing behind you, and your arm being pulled up like this would hurt your shoulder immensely.
Oh, yeah.
And the other guy just holding her by her shorts. They didn't even try to stand her up and walk her away like a human being. They treated her like an animal. And, I mean, it's on video, you can see it, I'm sure there'll be other stuff pop up all over.
I've seen people carry potatoes with more care. A sack of potatoes.
Oh, it was horrible. It's horrible. And these are not necessarily Toronto police, because there is a lot of, I'm sure they're wearing uniforms that say police, but we only have 18,000 soldiers, so I definitely don't think we have 20,000
Were there military there? I thought it was all just officers.
Well, dressed in police uniforms, but we don't have that many cops, so they're handing out those uniforms, and they
to the Canadian military?
Or the private security guys.
I didn't even hear about that.
There's over 5,000 private security officers.
From around the globe.
From everywhere, yeah, not even Canadians.
So what's going on here?
So it's not even Canadian police.
It's not like Toronto got snowed in again, and they needed the military to come.
No, well, that's what they tell you. They need the military, but there is some military down there too. Though they talked about that as well, but there's not near as many as like the undercover uniform officers that are in the crowd and stuff like that. And we obviously. They say they don't really have that many of them, but we saw 3 come out of the crowd to just take away this girl like that. So they're out there.
So are you glad that people are protesting, though?
I am.
Because they're very, very brave people.
Absolutely.
Charlie Veach?
Yeah, Charlie Veach.
Chris Veach?
Well, C. Veach is his name on YouTube. I think his name is... It's either Chris or Charlie Veach or whatever, and he was arrested. He's a guy that... I watch a lot of his videos and stuff, and I respect him.
I'm glad those kinds of people are on the front lines. Not necessarily people who would smash windows.
For fighting the good fight, yeah. I mean, he's not like that. I mean, he does something called the Love Police, so he talks about how we should spread love rather than violence. So very non-violent, whatever. And he was arrested for not telling his name.
And producing identification.
And in that, but that's, he wouldn't tell them his name, so because he didn't tell them his name or produce identification, he was arrested, which is
under the Public Works Act.
Which is the new law that they put in place so that they can charge you, all because he came within 5 meters of a 12-foot high security fence. And I thought the fence was to keep people out, not to put an imaginary fence outside the fence. And then you charge people that are near the fence, not...
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They need a force field.
or a fence inside a fence, and they already have that because they have the outer perimeter fence and then they have the red zone fence. So isn't that the whole purpose? But now you can't even get close to the outside fence, so now they need a third fence for the fence inside the fence.
And why do they have to do this downtown Toronto? Can't they meet on Dr. Evil's Island or something? Isn't there a cheaper place that's more secure to go than that? But still invite the press and have it covered?
Or somewhere up north at
Is it because a
fancy resort where the population couldn't even get to protest? Why
do it on a weekend? Why not during the week?
Why do they hide the Bilderberg meetings but show these ones openly? And I think they do it to draw people out so they can catalog them, take their photographs, find out who the leaders are, the organizers.
That's an interesting theory, yeah.
The organizers of the resistance. Because, I think, really one of the things is, I really think right now that a revolution is happening. And that revolution is through peaceful protest and whatever.
Not with guns.
No, absolutely not. Through peaceful protest and whatnot. And because you're not seeing it in TV, you don't realize that there really is a revolution going on for the freedom of humanity, and we're all a part of it. Whether you're playing an active role in it or not, I think you are a part of it, whether you're aware of it or anything like that. So
thanks to everyone who's active, and thanks for people brave enough to go protest.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
There are a lot of people that are sitting in their houses that may be too old or just not capable or too far away that really do appreciate, the effort towards a better humanity. Whether or not you agree with everything that's going on or whatever, there are a lot of people that are just trying...
Nonviolent change.
Trying to push freedom, real freedom, not controlled by bankers and debt and everything else. And, really, seriously, so thanks to guys like Charlie Veach. We'll have to check his name. I just know him as C. Veach.
But the Love Police.
But thanks to guys like that for doing what they're doing. We really appreciate it.
Very brave.
There are a lot of... And I think the other thing that's really important, too, that I had mentioned to Chad the other day that a lot of people don't realize is that sometimes, people like us feel like we're alone. And I don't think you should, because there are millions, literally millions of people around the world just like you that want the same changes and the same kinds of things. It's just we need to really get those voices heard, but they are out there.
People are waking up.
So yeah, I guess that's our take on Toronto's G20.
Yeah.
I guess if you're in Toronto and you've experienced any of it, please let us know. Leave your comments and stuff like that. Let us know what you think about the G20
story,
or the world leaders in general. And I guess that's about it.
Yeah, thanks.